Guys, it's that time again to tell you about my favorite ad and something I use every day, Rocket Money on my phone. It basically saves me so much money. Look at this. If you can see here, I've got a list of what I've spent recently.
What does Netflix cost now?
Netflix, $24.99, right?
much.
It alerts you when things go up, when things go down, when something doesn't seem right. I've gotten those alerts too for me to categorize it to see if something's going on. Guys, I love Rocket Money so much. I learned it from Joe. Joe had it a long time ago.
Yeah, I like to stay organized.
Do I really want to give my information out? I was kind of scared at first, but guys, I use it every day since then.
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps me on top of all of these things. I get updates constantly about all these things going up and down. And look, I've got that line in my head. It's like, this product is only worth this much money.
Yes.
And Netflix is approaching that line.
Set up your own budgets, monitor, even have them cancel some of the subscriptions for you guys. Go to rocketmoney.com/AngryJoe show and get started for free now. It's free. There are some additional premium features if you're liking it, but I use it completely free, guys. We like saving you money. That's what we're all here for. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the video. Check it out. Hey guys, we just got back from 28 years later, okay? These are several films in this franchise. 28 days later, 28 weeks later, 28 months later.
4.
Didn't happen. 28 months later?
No, there's no months.
No months.
No, 28 days.
28 days.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It was Sandra Bullock. Like, didn't really connect, but it's weird. I watched all 4 of them.
The romantic...
Yeah.
Joe, that is not a part of this.
It said 28 days.
28
days later.
28 days later.
Weeks. And
28 weeks later.
so you
and
tell me I
finally,
watched it for nothing?
Yes, you did.
It would
God
be right
damn it.
next to it on the shelf at Blockbuster. It'd be right there.
It would.
28 years later, guys. They skipped months. They actually said that they were kind of trying to come up with a script for it and then kind of banded it. And instead, they came up with this. And this is directed by Danny Boyle, written by Alex Garland, who did the first one, in my opinion, the best one.
Yes.
28 Days Later with Cillian Murphy. And had an amazing trailer. I mean, this trailer was really, really cool. Had this poem, this World War I kind of... song and poem and like an announcement, boots jumping up and down again, that kind of thing. It's really intense and well done trailer. And frankly, it translates exactly into the film. Yes, it's a zombie film.
Is it
It's a zombie film. It's a post-apocalyptic
They're infected.
horror zombie film. This is definitely a zombie, in my opinion. I mean, you might have a different
They
opinion.
call them zombies in the movie.
But, yeah, they do. And it is, gosh, whew, Danny Boyle has a style. I've really not seen this before. And he's experimenting here with several techniques. And at first, it kind of put me off. I'm like, what are we doing here? It's like an art house project or something. But I don't know. I guess it grew on me, and because it kept me off kilter. It was very intense, and it had a lot of surprising emotion. If I were to break it down, this film is brutal. I will say one word: brutal, and I've had to say another word: British. Brutal, British, bold. There's some bold choices, and towards the end, beautiful. Some beautiful moments. Some surprisingly touching moments that are quite macabre. There's it reminds me. I've been to the Czech Republic. We went to go see KCD2, and I've actually been to the Sedlec Bone Church in Kutna Hora, and this reminds me of a lot of this style and this architecture that you see towards the end of the film. And it's about death, and it's about love and life, and it gets It's complete. It's not what I expected at all. Let me start there.
Yeah.
The trailer makes it look like your standard World War Z, Brad Pitt, kind of invasion zombie film. There's gonna be zombies running across Britain, the Isle, and killing people. And this is a much, much more personal story, mainly about a kid and his father going across from this small isle onto the mainland of Britain. And I think Alex told me they had to retcon some of the stuff that they had mentioned.
The second movie doesn't exist. They're having to change everything,
or at least many things to make this one make sense, and build a universe, build a kind of franchise out of it. And then I'm driving and Alex, this is supposed to be one of the trilogy. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I thought I'm coming over here to get to get the third. I think that, yes, it's a trilogy. This is the last one.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this is meant to start a new trilogy. And I'm like, son of a bitch. It made me annoyed because I wanted to get a nice, satisfying story, not the beginning of one and then be cock-teased for something in the future. And frankly, I was cock-teased for something in the future.
Yeah.
And it was a little annoying at the end. However, I think because it was done at such a high level, a really good level, and had just some British, bold, brutal style.
And balls, lots of balls.
And balls.
There's a lot of naked dudes and
There's a lot of cock and balls in this film.
Uh-huh.
There's some titties, but way more cock and balls.
Mm-hmm.
So be prepared for that. We were not prepared for it, and we got a lot of alpha cock and balls. But I overall am really surprised. I thought it was really good and fucking intense. And this is in my opinion, a good zombie film, good zombie story. The effect on people, the parallels between an infection like that and humanity itself, and just creative characters. If you're a fan of creative, wacky, fascinating to watch characters going through some shit, this is a good watch for you. So I'd say go and watch it over this weekend. Check it out. What did you guys think?
I'm the opposite. I did not really enjoy this film.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I think Spike did a good job. The kid did the best he could. Emotional moments were really not there for me. Some of these tests, as you say, didn't work out for me. I didn't like some of these camera angles.
The artsy stuff.
Yeah, I didn't like some
I did lean over Joe. I'm like, Joe, my eyes are kind of blurry all the time.
They were trying to do that blurry in the back focus thing,
Yeah.
and then it's a film grain. Honestly, the first act was the best part for me. After that, it came to a screeching halt. I did not care about his adventure. Mm-hmm. I don't like what they kind of did with the infected. And the very end kind of just really made me roll my eyes.
Hey.
Like,
I get it.
Yeah, I went in there thinking this is going to be an infection movie like the ones we've had previously, but this is kind of different. They took their own thing. They wanted to make it their own, and if that's what they want to do, that's fine, but I don't like it.
I do remember the original had style to it.
Yeah.
There was some really interesting shots when he's doing that crank of the radio off in the distance. So visually, cool.
And they had a message there too,
and then
like
some handheld
crazy messages and stuff as well. But no.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think that's cool. We could disagree.
I think there's two storylines in this, and I think one of them's good, and I don't think the other one is any good. And it's weird because I think I've seen both movies recently, and the first third of this movie is grounded. It feels like it's in universe. It expands the lore. I love the expansion of the lore. We're playing, I don't mind that they retcon some things and they're changing some stuff, but they're changing how the infective interact with the world, and I don't mind that. I actually think it's really cool that we can explore some of those things. And then we kind of get back from a short little mission, and then it kind of devolves into fucking Crazy Town. And the style was really heavy in the beginning of the movie.
Then it stopped.
And then it kind of stops in the last 2/3 of the movie.
And then at the end, it punches you in the face again.
It comes right back, and so like I like his style. I like him playing with weird things, like screw around with some of these scenes. Give me a wacky, like he literally ties a GoPro to a goat, and I learned that after watching the movie, it's like that makes sense. It looks like there's a goat running around like and getting some stuff, and so like there's some cool stuff that is here, but like there's at least a third of the movie where all of that kind of cool style just kind of disappears and it dries up, and the emotion it's not, I don't like it's believable. I don't care about, and then we get to the end and they do some absolutely crazy town shit, and it just goes off the rails to the point where it's like I don't care about this universe. I don't want to see 28 years later the Bone Church or whatever the fuck the next one's going to be called. Like I not like if
come my lady, come my lady. Yeah. That's all I hear when I see.
Yeah, so it's like I
say that all the time.
Yeah,
like,
because
every single time I think Crazy Town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you like that song? No. So Crazy Town is bad.
Yeah.
So Crazy Town is bad, and I think the
but
ending,
it's like but in this way, it is a fact. You can't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
And in this way, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I couldn't
So
stop looking
it is.
at
It is brutal. I do think it's really intense, but there's some things that we get at the end of the movie where it's just like, oh, cool, we're setting this up. Stuff's gonna happen. We're gonna pay this off later.
Yeah.
But I don't give a fuck about it. I actively hate some of the stuff that happens at the end of this movie.
I do.
So I do not want to watch the next one. I didn't want a new cinematic universe for them to set up. So
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we're in disagreement.
like we are in like
hilarious.
Book of Boba Fett. We are in like
I can see that. I can see that.
I can see it if it goes in the wrong direction,
Which
and I
it
do
looks-
think
it
it is.
feels like it is.
It does feel like it's going in a completely different direction
Yes.
of what was set up at the beginning. Let me start by saying, like Alex said, really creative and interesting camera work, strong performances. This guy, what's his name? I love this actor. Towards the end here, his
Ray
name
Fiennes?
is yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, he's always
Ralph,
great.
Yeah, he's
Ralph
great.
Fiennes. And man, he's just I love him and
Yeah.
everything. I couldn't recognize Aaron Taylor Johnson, at first. He's a good actor. He really is. And he does a good job here. And I felt all the zombie stuff was creative, intense. I did like how they changed some stuff in order to tweak this and make it work. I kept thinking I'd see, Cillian Murphy or something. At the end, you see people were like, "Oh, that zombie looks exactly like Cillian Murphy in the trailer." That's not Cillian Murphy.
He's in the next movie.
That's a skinny. Well, maybe we don't know.
They
Maybe
said-
there's like a trailer. Or something.
they said you'll see him.
in the
You just have to
trilogy.
wait. So it's not.
He's
this
not
one.
the skinny
Not this
zombie.
one.
That's just I don't know, a malnourished actual actor, or they probably use CGI
Which they
on that
didn't
one.
die. Bastards.
But yeah, it's like part Smoking Aces and
Part Army of
Guy
the Damned.
Ritchie, but
gonna
then a
come
little
Mosquito.
bit, but then a little bit of.
I was hoping it
just
wouldn't
standard-
reach Army of Darkness territory.
Army of the Damned, right? Or
No.
are you talking about Army of the Darkness?
No,
Yeah.
Army of
Oh,
Darkness.
like
Oh,
Bruce
wait,
Campbell.
Army of the Dead.
the
Army of the
skeleton.
Dead with the
But
alpha male and the
Oh yeah, that's what we got.
yeah. That's well, not too much.
okay, well now that. Okay, I disagree. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
thought all that stuff was fine, and I was emotionally invested. I liked Spike. I don't know who names their kid Spike, but there
There's
it
weirder
is.
names
and
out there.
it's coming of age. Yeah, shut up, Joe. And
You already know.
why'd you have to bring that up?
Because he said
So
that
we're driving
Spike is
back.
a weird
I'm
name.
just gonna
Spike
break-
don't
you
play
can't
with.
just-
Was it
we're
Spike don't play
recording,
with
Joe.
girls?
Alex says
Spike.
the Kansas City Chiefs just signed.
Georquarius Spivey.
And you think Spike is
Yeah.
far
I
fetched?
immediately thought
And
of,
the Key and Peele.
Key and Peele
have,
sketch.
have ruined.
yes, there are crazier names than Spike, Joe. But I thought it was a touching story and an interesting story, a well-acted story, well-executed. I was involved and in the scenes.
I
They
guess I was
got
out.
me in there. Yeah, and some of that stuff, I felt it was hokey because you could clearly tell that Danny Boyle was trying to draw parallels between the ancestry of the British Isles and the Scottish Highlands and longbowmen of years past in medieval shots. Like, what are you doing? Am I watching a television or am I in the zombie apocalypse with you?
Yeah.
And so that will kind of jolt you and shake you, and I didn't like it at first when he stopped fucking around with that. Y'all like that stuff, and I didn't like that stuff, and then he stopped playing around. And when he got serious, and it was more sort of creative shots and setup and more realistic, hey, this is how a young soldier would talk who is separated from his company and you know, this... And in a weird situation, you get that kind of gritty, realistic dialogue that just feels like, you know, good world building. And I was in it the whole way, and I liked it. So apparently, as Alex said, the sequel was shot back to back with this one. It's called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. There is a mini story at the beginning of this film. You know how in the 28 days and weeks later they do this really great opening where it's like the zombie apocalypse is spilling out and shit. The monkeys and this and that. It just goes wacky, right? They have something similar here in a little vignette, little kind of different story that they're telling. And then the film starts. And you don't think that these will ever cross over. And frankly, I don't think they needed to cross over. I thought that was an interesting little setup.
Is it coming? Is it
coming? That's a little setup. And then this story, I think, is really strong and good and doesn't need it. And at the end, they cross over. But they cross over in the most... I don't think I'm doing hyperbole, ridiculous.
It's fucking
and
stupid.
over-the-top stupid way.
I look over like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Wow, y'all got punched the fuck out.
Yeah, I did.
But I was like, I am willing to tolerate your bullshit because you have earned it. So we'll see. We'll see if it divides people. But overall, I liked it.
I think it will.
It's going to divide people, I think. So go ahead and let us know final verdicts.
4. Below average.
What?
I honestly
Wait
liked
a
the
minute.
first act. The
Did
first
you
act
see?
just wanted more of that. Have them kind of get stuck out there and have like the infected be creepier. Use more of that, like the red night vision. They stopped with that a lot.
Oh, yeah. So
like,
one of the things
creepy.
that was, so we were talking about the medieval stuff, but they did the red night vision too in a way that was really, really cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, but we did it for 10 minutes and then we stopped.
Exactly.
The rest of the whole movie.
Like I wanted them to be like, okay, something happened. We have to kind of camp out and kind of find a way back.
Do some of that
expand
red,
on that one. But again, as soon as we went back to the island, it came to a screeching halt for me. I was very disappointed with that. A lot of the edits were kind of weird. The music really kicked me out. Like it was an action scene, but the music didn't. It just felt super off. I did not like it. I was
Danny
like,
Boyle is making some eccentric choices here.
Yes, a lot of dumb decisions by the kid, and I guess. That's
you got to push plot for it. I'll
but that was like,
I'll
you
allow
can,
his stupidity.
But again, I wanted it to kind of be different. It wasn't for me, and honestly, the emotional stuff didn't hit.
Yeah, like I said before, I feel like it's two movies, two storylines pushed together, and they don't mesh. Like we get all this cool style stuff at certain parts of the movie, and then it's completely void of that stuff. And honestly, I think some of that crazy style stuff, while it's probably not my cup of tea, I was interested by it. I was interested in some of the stuff. It's like, oh, that's a cool choice. I never would have. I didn't know that I would enjoy that kind of thing.
I wouldn't do it.
And it's like, but you're watching, and you're like, oh, cool. And then when all of that stuff went away and I was just stuck with the writing of this movie, I was like, oh, there's actually nothing interesting here that's keeping me in this movie. I would think I was enamored by some of the cool style stuff that he was doing. And then, the song, we go to Crazy Town and we do some things that's like human beings who've been terrified of zombies for 30 straight years would not act in this way. It is absolutely ridiculous. And then we get so much Army of the Damned in this that I don't know. And then the very, very end of the movie, I think if I was going to like be favorable to it, the very end of this movie took away any sort of goodwill I have. So I like it a little better than you. I think that this is average, but I really, really liked 28 Days Later. Like I really like it.
Yeah,
28.
So
It's number one.
What about 28 Weeks Later, Joe? You give this film a 4. What would you give
rather
28
watch that
weeks? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
rather
rather
watch
watch
that one.
No, you're crazy. You too, Alex? Y'all are crazy.
At least, so that
the
movie
movie
is.
is so boring. Well, it's not boring.
It's just nonstop conveniences and ridiculousness,
Yes.
but like stuff is happening and it's consistent and it's like it's a set story that happens. Like
people
it's
with a
not a bunch of
helicopter.
stuff. Yeah, oh yeah, that's craziest. I think that like the first one is like a 9.
Yeah.
It's
that's
awesome.
right. I agree.
The second
first
one is like
a
a
9.
6, and I'm giving this one a 5.
Okay, Joe, 9.
I would say, yeah.
And
And,
then-
then probably 5 or 6.
Yeah, and then, I would. Okay, so obviously I had different opinion, but that's fine. I was very engaged. It was heart pounding. It was interesting. It was visceral, intense, and I will say wacky. Okay, I'm trying not to do any spoilers here, but it gets wacky a little bit. In the stylistic choices are bold, eccentric, and different. But I just love A24, like this art of filmmaking. I like this kind of fucking with the audience every once in a while and just conveying ideas in unique and interesting ways that you've not seen before. And do they work? Joe says, no, they don't work. I say, yeah, they do work sometimes.
But I feel like-
Sometimes, because not even I like all the choices. We'll talk about it in
Yeah.
spoilers. So the final verdict I'm going with is shit, man. I like this. I am excited for the next one. I'm like 8-9 territory. I think ultimately I agree with some of the boys' points, and they did shed light on some things that, upon retrospect, don't seem like they might hold up over the years. You might initially like it, but we'll see. So I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10. And I am interested in seeing the Bone Temple or whatever the 28 decades later. They need to go back and do 28 months
God.
later. But no, it's just called 28 years later, the Bone Temple, which I'm not really sure.
I'm not.
It's not Danny
factors
Boyle
in.
though.
Do they go to the Czech Republic, Hutna Hora, where I went, but you're not allowed to film in there. But anyways, yeah, so that is our opinion. I say go see it. The boys say don't go see it.
Yeah,
You can
say
wait
hold-
for it on
wait for
the streaming. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go into the spoilers because there is a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yep.
Hey, welcome to the spoilers. Okay, I think the boys, the goofy shit, like, here's something we can all agree on. The fucking ending was goofy
Awful.
as fuck.
Yes, they were fucking doing
So-
parkour, jumping on rocks, doing like
Somebody jumped on a
somersaults.
trampoline.
Like
Like,
Alex and I want like
Hulk,
those
it literally
tracksuits.
turned into, like a
was
Ritchie,
fucking
what do they
stupid.
call it? Guy Ritchie film or something where he's parodying himself.
Like I want a tracksuit and everything.
I do too. Like,
But again,
a
this
shell suit.
So
Tracksuit.
what ends up happening is at the very end, a dude wearing a tiara, a purple tracksuit, a bunch of gold chains, and rings. And everyone is dirty and filthy because it's the apocalypse. And this dude looks like he is filming a parody, like a Little Dicky parody video. And then out of
It's
and
like
he's-
a Russian tracksuit kind
yeah,
of thing.
and it looks like he's wearing a blonde mullet wig, and then out of nowhere, 6 other people with blonde mullet
Yeah,
wigs
show up.
and tracksuits, and they look really cool, and they're all wearing
they,
like
they
super
don't
bright.
look cool.
tracksuits
Stop
are
that.
cool.
They're dressed for like
Stop that.
they think they are
look
fucking
like
cool
they
as
all
shit.
think that they're him. They're like, idolizing
Yeah.
him and his blonde hair and his pale skin.
Yeah, and then they start doing flips and like
Like, it
tricks.
turns into a clown show.
and then they start cutting out zombies, but they're not wearing any face
But
coverings or anything.
they're using like golf clubs. I'm
Random
like, wait
shit.
a minute. Now you're breaking lore. Like, why would you try? Okay, the
It's super
first
clean,
film,
super
the
clean.
motherfucking father looks up, and it's just this random
Yeah.
occurrence where a
Yeah.
bead of blood falls into his eye, and it's the saddest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
And there's so much emotion. because you got close. And these guys are just gonna, hit people with
No,
golf clubs.
They're just having
the
fun.
excuse is, I put a fucking plastic bag over the guy's head, and then I'm hitting
Only
him.
for one
But it's
guy.
just super fucking messy. So that you don't fight the infected like this.
The world stopped feeling dangerous
So unless there's an explanation that he has some kind of immunity and all of his followers have some kind of immunity, or I guess Alex Garland and Danny Boyle has decided to tone down the fact that blood will infect you, but no, because
they
there
did in
was
the
one
film.
shot
Yeah.
where his mom
It's like,
gets
no,
blood,
like,
and
don't
then they
blink,
try
don't
to
blink,
wipe
let
it
me get
off
the-
really
yeah.
quickly. So that may not be true. I don't know. It was
I
hokey,
did not like it.
and I'm sure Joe was like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Again, it was.
But it's such a fascinating.
It's the biker
I was,
gang.
only because it confirmed for me. I was like, that kid is fucked up. He's gonna grow up fucked up. And then guess what? At the end, a fucked up kid comes. He's not a kid. He's 28 years. He's probably 30 something, right? Because it's 28 years later. He shows up and he's fucked up. And I guess he's like leading a cult.
with tracksuits.
A tracksuit.
Purple,
shell
different
suit. Why do they call it shell suit?
They're very colorful. Yeah, that's the direction I honestly like. From that to the first movie's like, what happened?
Yeah, we've gone
What
to a
happened?
completely crazy. Like, there's a
Yeah.
scene where the mother.
And it's completely different tone than what they had shown before. It's actually almost a different tone to the stylistic things that he was doing at the beginning that he stopped doing in the third act.
Yeah.
Where those stylistic choices were, okay, while you're sleeping or while you're in these intense moments, I'm going to cut to random footage. Like, let's say there's survivors in the apocalypse doing arrows. I'm going to cut to footage of old school medieval television novellas that have, like medieval guys firing. And I guess it's supposed to pay reverence to the country's history. And I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they also cut to what Joe's saying, I want to see more of this really cool red night vision where the motherfuckers, their eyes are glowing and the zombies are just ripping things apart. And there's at one point that his mom, and that shit was scary. I was a little creeped out. His mom is just in the fucking water, drowning and calling him. I'm like, man, this is some scary shit. And her eyes are red. So you're like, oh, wait, is she infected? Does she have that dormant virus from 28 weeks later? Or what's going on here? And I wanted more of that, please. But we didn't get more of that. We got that sprinkled in. It had effect. I wanted more at the end in the climax, and we didn't get that.
Yeah, it started out with a ton of it, and I think that's why I was interested. And then when they stopped doing it, I lost any and all interest. And
It seemed like they were teasing, because those flash moments, some of them happened at the end of the film. So I thought, okay, we're going to get to
their
that.
payoffs, or
and
maybe
you don't
something.
get to
we don't get to that. The world, they spend a lot of time in the first, I'd say, half of the movie. The world is dangerous, right? Like, they're like, you can't, like, there's one here, like, there's a drop of blood on her head, and he's freaking out, like, don't touch your face, and they're trying to fix things. And then the mother hears a zombie scream, and she goes.
I hated this.
She goes into a train car, and she sees that an infected is giving birth. And this is a storyline. This is the storyline from Army of the Damned, where an alpha, which is what they're called here, wants to have zombie babies, and then that's the whole story.
I forgot about.
And so the Jodie Cormer, who plays the mother, gets down on her knee. I don't know if you've ever seen Did you have to watch videos of childbirth growing up, like in health class?
This is so stupid.
There's blood everywhere, and there's blood everywhere in this train car, and she's there with no protective gear, no anything, and she helps this zombie give birth, and there is blood everywhere.
She helps in the stupidest way possible.
What are we doing right now?
She puts her hands out like this.
Yes.
And the zombie is in extreme pain,
but
and
mothers
puts
have
her
a
hands
bond
out, and then they bond because mothers have a bond. So through the rage virus, the pregnant lady no longer is in rage mode and wants to kill people because she's experiencing the rage and violence of childbirth.
So maybe
and they
after.
connect, and for a moment they connect because once the baby pops out,
she helps.
It's a calm moment, but Then the fucking mother gets back up and goes, "Rah!" And the soldier who they had met
long enough for
lights her up.
She's tying up the umbilical cord. The zombie is calm. They cut the umbilical cord. The zombie is calm, and she's holding the baby.
We don't see the zombie the whole time. I'm assuming
she's
that
exhausted.
No, I think the zombie had passed out.
Yeah, she's exhausted, and then she gets up and she freaks out. The only thing that I thought this was setting up was be a cool kill where they hold hands and the zombie just barfs in her face. It's like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Why would you run up to? You've been afraid of these things for 28 years.
Well, her brain is not functioning correctly. She has cancer and she doesn't know where she's at, but it was still stupid. I don't even think that you would be that stupid to do this thing. And it breaks logic because at one point, her son is behind her. She's a little ahead. And the son is talking to the soldier that they met and saved them. And then in the next shot, she's so far ahead that the boys and they have to like run a long way to get to. So like they teleported her super far away, and the time doesn't match up.
Mother's intuition.
And it's like that was dumb as fuck.
It
okay,
was.
So.
Then they have a baby. And
I
they gotta
agree.
transport
And then they carry the baby for the rest of the movie. Like
and
this is
Alpha shows up at that moment. And he's pissed, and this is the boy only, the boy and his mother. So the boy doesn't have his father around. The soldier is dead because he's like, put the baby down, because he just shot the zombie mother, and he's gonna shoot the baby because he thinks the baby's infected. He said, no, the baby's calm, the baby's just crying. It's not infected. And he's just backing up, and he's like, if you don't put the baby down, I'm going to kill y'all both. And then that's when the Alpha grabs him, pulls him up, and rips his head off. So the Alpha just loves doing the Scorpion Sub-Zero fatality to everybody. So that happens like 3 times in the film, where he just rips somebody's head up, and you got the fucking spine. And it's cool. I mean, that's what the Predators do and like shit. That. And he's just running, and he's got a big old floppy dick hanging there, and it's on full display, and it's running at you full speed. It's scary, and he tries to put some arrows in it, and he is saved by the doctor.
We forgot to mention too. The dad stayed behind because he snuck out with the mom.
Yeah,
that's a no more Aaron.
Well, his dad doesn't want to help. The dad the kid learns. So the kid goes, okay, so we got to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so they live on this island. This is like his name day. He's 12 years old. He's going to go out on his very first hunt, and he goes out with his dad. And his dad's super supportive of him, and he's like teaching him things. And his dad is so calm.
Yes.
Dad of the year. Like even when the kid is making mistakes, things that could cost them both their lives. He's awesome.
Yes.
The problem is when they get back, and they, this is the first 20-ish minutes of the movie, and they get back, and there's this big celebration. You went out on your first hunt. You killed your first zombie. During this time, we deepen the lore. Now there's these giant fat crawler zombies that eat worms, and that's how they explain them. There's skinny zombies, and then they eat deer. They eat pretty much whatever
fast
now.
Ones.
And those are the fast ones. And then there's the Alpha, who the virus for them acts like steroids, and for all of the parts of the body. I mean...
Gross.
Yeah. And so he gets back, but then he realizes that at the party, his dad sneaks off with someone who is not his mother. His mother is bedridden, and she's obviously has something going on.
This is a real island. I had to look it up. I was like, because, the tide comes. Yeah. This is a perfect place to say for a zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. Or just a big boat offshore.
It's called Lindisfarne.
Surprisingly,
Holy
have
Island.
boats.
Yeah, but keep going.
And so the mom is sick, and so they set this up, and I really wish they did a little bit better job.
Yeah,
I mean, they show the
they
mom
should've.
being sick a couple times, and she's kind of loopy, and the dad is, he's a doting husband. He is taking care of her. He's doing everything for her, and he does it with kind of a happy face. But at this party, he sneaks off with some town woman and goes down on her in a corner.
Mm-hmm. That upsets the son.
And the son is, he doesn't know what's happening.
Runs home, talks to this uncle-ish character, and he kind of tells him, you saw fire in the distance? Oh, that's crazy old whatever.
Doctor so-and-so. And he's like, oh, doctor.
Wait, a doctor. So then he gets it in his head that his dad just doesn't want to help, and he's just waiting for his mom to die so that he can get with the girl. And he
like, is that what you want?
Takes it upon himself, and he's even like, get the fuck out. He's going up to his mom and helps his mom out when she's screaming because they hear them yelling at each other. And then the father tries to come up, but the son's like, get away from us, pulls a knife on his father's mom, takes his fucking knife away and wants to hit his kid, but then gives the knife back, punches the wall a few times instead, and leaves when the kid's like, get out of here, leave us alone. It's a sad scene. It's an intense scene, and it's well acted. This is why I like it, because the dad has emotional fucking trauma, and you could tell that it's tough on him, and it's tough on the kid. He's right, dad's wrong, but has his own reasons. Crazy stuff. But
it was just abbreviated.
He decides to.
It was abbreviated for me. Like those are the kind of scenes that I think really can play out, and we could have done a lot of really cool stuff with.
Oh no, I thought it played out, and that was sufficient, and it spurs the son on to take stupidly, because I also simultaneously hate how he's doing this, because you're going to die. You take your mom out. You're the only one. You're literally going back to where you barely survived, because when they went out,
so
they met an alpha who has 100 fucking infected, and literally chased him all the way across this causeway that floods over, and was flooding at the same time they're running, and only because at the last minute did they shoot this alpha and prevent him. And I think that's a different alpha.
Different alpha.
Because that alpha's definitely dead after that big fucking arrow. But anyways, flaming arrow. But and then he goes back out there, so he knows he's dead.
That's what we're saying.
He should know he's dead, but he does it because of that emotional fight and turmoil. You're going to let my mom die. I'm not letting my mom die. I'm going out there and doing something. I liked it. So then he does it, and what happened?
But there's no rush. Like at no point, even the uncle's like, "Oh, your mom's getting better. Like she was great today." And so it's like I didn't have any of the.
He was lying. They're lying to him, and he knows that they're lying to him. And then she's bleeding from the nose. She's getting worse. That's why he's like, we have to do something now. Yeah. So he does something now.
Yeah, he lights all of the medical tent on fire, and he sneaks out, and he goes to kill himself and his mother. And I was happy to see him die, but that's not what happened. So he does. Yeah. He lights a building on fire, and he's like, "Oh, get away from the gate!" And so he sneaks out with his mom, who has these fits where she can barely walk, and it's like.
So he gets her out and he's making the journey towards where he saw the fire. They momentarily stop at a church, and he lights a fire. I'm like, this kid's dead. And sure enough, some of the crawlers, I'll call them, fatty crawlers, sneak up on him, and he's about to die. The fatty crawler's about to, it's eating
cool.
his shoelaces. There's really cool style here, and practical effects, and mucus, and grossness, and just interesting stuff. However, just before he dies, somebody puts a bag over the zombie's head and then smashes it into the side and saves them. I thought it was going to be the doctor. I thought maybe the father could come. It could be any number of things, but the explanation is even stupider. It is his mother who becomes lucid for just enough where she gains super strength and I thought I allowed it at that moment because I'm like, I think I know where they're going. Maybe her virus in her is mutating to the point where
the virus
so I'm doing something. I'm like, she's getting super strength. There's an alpha. Maybe she's going to be an alpha mother. I don't know. But I'll allow it for right now. But when where we go? Upon thinking about it, she would have to lift this 15 times her body weight, and
she's slamming it into the rock over it's a tomb in the church over and over, and it's like.
So it turns out she saved it. She has no recollection, or at least she pretends she has no recollection when her son's like, "What happened?" She saved his life, and they continue on their journey, and eventually they run into a train, and we have that scene that we'd already talked about that was stupid with the giving the birth and the baby, and she just decides, I'm going to help this woman because I don't care about my own life. I'm going to have this baby born, and the baby's born, and then that thing happens. The alpha chases them, and luckily the doctor shows up in time. He's put, iodine all over his body in order to disguise him, because I'm like, why don't they attack him? He's been roaming around. So he's intelligent. He has ways and things that he does to get around it. But he basically injects the alpha with so much
morphine.
Morphine, was it? Yeah. I don't know. It's put him to fucking sleep, basically. And they're able to get out of it. And so, the
alpha just wants his baby, and so it becomes the alpha's motivation. And so they get to the doctor's island. He shows them his little bone temple. Some parts of it look really cool, and then there are some other scenes.
Well, number one, he couldn't have built
No, yeah, of course.
It's so stupid. I'll allow it because of Kutnahora.
It's like 28 years.
28
Why
years.
not?
But
All right, fine.
20
some of the
years.
pillars look really bad, like
Well,
Spirit
good, they
Halloween.
should.
Bad. Well, I mean,
They
like
should look bad. He's the one that made it. I
Like
actually
plastic?
would like that they'd look worse.
no, I mean like they look like unpainted plastic bones that are like glued
Oh.
together. Like it doesn't look.
Oh, no,
together.
I thought that
You're
it
not
was
supposed to be
too
looking
unrealistic.
too close.
You're not supposed
It
to
was
look at
too,
it. Yeah.
No, I thought it looked good, but it was too polished. You see all these bones that he's doing, but they're so polished. You would have to polish them for
His
a long
methods
time.
are pretty cool.
And he does this
As
instantaneously.
a grown man alone for 20 years, he's polishing a lot of bone, if you know what I mean.
God damn it.
Bam!
Okay, bam.
That was a good one.
And then we go, don't encourage it. And then we go to his sanctuary, and
He does a-
he
he does a
is
crane.
honoring all the dead.
Yeah, and so he's actually not crazy. He's just crazy.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, you have a baby. Why is this baby here?
Is that why you came? Because I'm a doctor.
And he's like, no, the baby's from an infected, but it's not infected. He's like, the magic of the placenta. And then he gives the mom.
I always wondered if that was possible.
Yeah.
But then he says, look, my mom, it's my mom. He goes, he does some examinations on her, realizes that she has cancer, has very little left to live. And, he had told him about this Latin phrase that is, we are all meant to die.
remember death.
Remember that
Memento mori.
we're meant to die and meet death. And so he uses that almost in a way to comfort him because his mother is dying and he has to accept it. And they blow a dart at him and knock him out.
Yeah.
He drugs this child. Then he kills the child's mother, and then while the kid is still drugged, he leads the mother away into the darkness, and then
Like,
15 minutes
holy
later,
shit.
and then he hands this drugged child his mother's skull.
After he polished it to a sheen, it's so white.
The child is holding a zombie baby, and he's like, "Mom goes away, skull comes back." It's like, what the fuck is happening at the end of this movie?
I was like, wait a minute. That's pretty fucked up.
Can't argue.
I was like, just
It sounds real bad now.
they
that
knock
you're
him
saying-
out, yeah.
But and none of this makes sense in time-wise. There's no way he's able to burn his mother's body and then clear the flesh because they were showing that previously how he builds it, and that was gross and interesting.
I thought they did because I thought like you could see kind of in the background just like a fucking flamethrower across his back.
Oh, the kid's
I thought
high.
okay.
No, that was something.
I thought they were
different.
just killing. I thought they were
dancing
killing his
flames,
mom.
Yeah.
and the kid is loopy.
His mom's dead.
That
So-
was another, and this is in the third act, guys. So some of the experimentation is still there because he's doing
Only
some
at the very
experimentation.
end. It's the middle of the movie that I dropped off because
All right.
they stopped doing that in the middle.
I thought he took a flamethrower pretty much and killed her. I was like, I don't know how else he killed her.
No,
He cut
used the
her
same-
head off,
He used
and
the
then he
same-
put the head in the oven.
After.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal, and the kid just accepts it like it's normal. He's like, give her the best place. So then he climbs up the Brone Temple and puts her on the top, and then says, "I love you, Mom." And I heard somebody on my left just kind of laugh, but it was like a kind of a nervous laughter. I could tell that they were in it, but it was like so ridiculous and so macabre.
I thought the guy next to you left.
No, he didn't leave.
There's one
He
guy
didn't
that
leave.
like kind of like a little bit before just took off, never came back.
I think someone was going to poop their pants.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there was a
That's
lady
probably it.
running, and she slammed into my chair.
Like running. Like when you were running that fast, something bad has
I
happened.
think she was just being polite, but she's actually being more disruptive by trying to run and get out of there. And because when she came back in, she ran.
Oh,
the
she came
same
back?
way,
Okay.
Yeah, Joe, you remember? Anyways, he puts his mom's skull there, and it's like there's not enough time to do this. This would have to be over a week or several days. But whenever I'm allowing it because it's well acted, well shot, its cinematography is great, and
I was
in a
knocked
certain way, it's working for me because I see the message. It's almost cartoon territory. It's almost hyper realistic. It's hyper stylized, and because I was allowing it. But I could totally see how somebody would be like, "This is fucking stupid." But not me.
Where's my
Oh,
mom?
but wait, hold my fucking beer because
Okay.
it's about to get infinitely fucking worse.
Oh no!
Yes,
okay.
but-
You're right. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So he goes back. Luckily, it's real quick. He goes back to deliver the baby to the island.
He sneaks back.
Nobody sees him with a fucking baby. Where are the guys that's supposed to be there 24/7?
24 hours a day.
Oh, there's a baby there?
Oh,
How did
shit,
that
you're
get
right.
there? Nobody saw that kid walk a fucking
Right.
mile.
Walk this, they'd be like, it's Spike.
The dad would have been running
He wouldn't
out.
have been running,
Yeah.
but instead they do it the
He's-
opposite, that nobody saw him.
How?
And his dad, in fact, is so distraught that his son decided to leave that he runs out there. It's like, oh, it's for the next movie that his dad's
They
going to
were
run.
never
and have-
supposed to
Right.
leave the tower.
Right.
They
No,
gotta
that's
look-
right, Joe.
Well, and there's
That's
also
a
missing people,
legitimate-
so they would seriously be looking at down. Like,
that is a legitimate plot hole.
So it's like, what the? It's like,
So he puts this baby in a baby basket, not a baby basket, a
Shopping-
grocery basket,
shopping
and
mall.
leaves it on the wall. And in the morning, the fucking tower guards suddenly hear a baby crying.
the baby slept through the night.
I mean, how does
It was
that
very-
logically work, Joe?
was-
They're eating their breakfast, they're walking up the tower, and they're just ignoring little cooing noises.
I would have been like, who was up there last night? Like, you're fired.
Get
You're
out.
fucking fired.
Leave our community.
Why? There's a baby.
Not only is there a
On
baby,
the fence.
somebody put it there, and you didn't see them come. And
We
it took
would
you
be dead.
3 hours to notice the
We
baby.
would be dead.
Yes. That is a huge plot hole, and there is no way around it. And I don't care if you like the film. This is stupid.
Yeah.
So then he leaves, and go ahead.
He writes a full note to his dad, and
He
the
wrote
note.
it before he went across
Yeah,
the causeway.
and he writes the
back then.
note, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not ready to come home. Mom is dead. I got drugged
I'll
by
come home when
this
I'm
creepy
ready."
old man. Drugged me, and then he gave me her skull,
He's
and it
not
was
as
real weird.
crazy.
Yeah, but there's a doctor. This baby is from an infected. He writes in the note, which I
like that.
I imagine immediately they take a rock and then they just
Right.
Because-
but I like that because it's like, I'm going to do the right thing and let y'all know because
Yeah.
I don't want anything to happen to the community.
It might be a carrier. Like
it might be a carrier.
The last
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, I don't know how this island is going to react, but I really doubt that the
Watch the sequel.
head matriarch of the island carries the baby from the gate of the town all the way to this person. It's like, no, we're not doing this. Like, and then the kid, he catches a nice looking salmon, I think, and he's cooking it over the fire. But zombies are attracted, and he's got enough arrows to kill a couple of them.
And he's now
confident.
he's better.
He's confident.
Well,
Yeah,
not as
he's
much.
but there's too many zombies,
many
and
zombies.
that's when the cult of Jimmy shows up.
The dudes from Borderlands 3, the twins, combined with the dudes from Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And it is a cartoon scene,
not like
and
it.
if
combined
this
with smoking aces and train spotting.
Not for me.
Show up to do that. Okay, well, all right. We forgot to mention at the beginning of the film Jimmy's story. As Jimmy was waking up, they're watching Teletubbies as the outbreak is going, and they're killing people. And then finally, one of the sons opens the door to all the chaos.
Jimmy.
And it was Jimmy that opened the door, and he opened the door, and all the zombie parents come in and kill all the fucking kids. It's brutal. It's crazy. Then Jimmy runs out and sees his mom, and his mom's like, "Run!" And then she closes the door on Jimmy, and because she doesn't want the zombie to get Jimmy, Jimmy runs out. He runs to the church, and apparently his dad was at work,
Oh, I thought
and
it
he's
was
the
just Jimmy's
pastor.
father.
It is his father.
I thought it was just
Oh,
like,
maybe it is his. Maybe it is father. I don't know.
Father Daddy.
Father Daddy.
Whatever.
Father Daddy.
Father Daddy.
Father,
and then
help me.
And
Well, 'cause
and
he was a
it is
priest.
his son.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Was
but
it?
he treated him like he knew him and is his son.
I don't know.
This is a great moment, son. I guess fathers do also say. I mean, the religious fathers tell people, "My son."
Take it as
Even if
you
you're
will.
not-
Whatever.
It's his father, Joe, and that's why he still has the fucking cross because it's his father's cross.
his cross to bear.
And now it's his church now, but it's a fucked up cult church. It's his father.
How
Joe.
are they clean?
It's his father, dad.
Father Daddy.
Okay. Anyways, the father is insane. This doesn't make any sense either. If this priest is doing his job correctly before the outburst, then he wouldn't be acting like this. He's like, "Oh, the rapture is here and it's glorious, and my children come to me and eat me."
There are
What?
there are people that do that today that are praying for the apocalypse.
I know,
and
it's
so
fucked
like
up.
he's just
It's
viewing this as the end of days, and he gets to finally go to the pizza party in the sky, and so he's
Yeah, and it's all screwed up, and his
Pittsburgh.
son manages to escape by going under the ground, and he gets to watch it all. and it's gonna fuck him up in the future. And he's got the cross, and again, interesting visuals with
It's
the cross
upside down
running and
now.
the cross falls upside down, and as it's swinging, it's an upside down cross. And then in the future, he's got his jewelry, and that cross is upside down. That's
But
how you know.
again-
it's
You think
him.
he's a social? I think he's like a social media dude who sneaks onto the island to kill zombies.
No.
You think he lives on the island? They are that clean and like.
Well, I thought they
Good
do.
point. I don't know how clean he.
I
don't
thought
know how
they
he's
do
able to
go
do
in
that.
the island and kind of fuck around because the first body they see, it's hung upside
Yeah,
down.
they are
It was-
mutilated on purpose.
Yeah,
It
but
was
he's
them.
from Northern Ireland, so I don't northern. It's the Scottish Highlands actually, not Ireland.
So I thought they were just fucking around.
But they
there.
evacuated a ton of people in the second movie, and they were
You're
able to kind
saying
of.
he thinks it.
That's-
No, the
that's
second movie
probably
didn't
where
exist.
it's
You told me
retconned.
the second movie doesn't exist.
That's
Some
probably
parts
where-
of the second movie doesn't exist. I find it hard to believe that all
Right.
8 of these people
we'll
can
have
exist.
to figure out why they're so clean, what laundromat they go to wash their clothes before they go out
But
on
again,
these.
the ending scene, they're jumping on rocks.
Yeah, do backflips and
It's
stuff
like
like.
fucking.
Turns into Power Rangers, British style Power
like,
Rangers.
what is going on?
It's bad.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
I don't know if it's bad.
If,
Oh,
again,
I'm
We're
very
going-
like that scene. That ending scene. I think is horrible.
the unlikable.
It is worse than bad.
The unlikable group at the end.
it is stupid.
The alpha stuff. We're heading towards
liked it.
Army of the Dead. I don't want to. I don't.
Yeah,
want
it does seem like it's getting more and more unserious. So, and I think its strength is when it's serious.
Yeah.
How dangerous the world was.
Again,
Yeah.
that's why the first
I
one's
agree.
like
I agree.
top one.
On that sense. But I think they could probably balance the two. This is the wackiest it's getting. He's really sequel baited. He really
it?
wanted to make
Those
another one.
characters-
They were making them at the same time, so he gets a sequel without
Yeah.
feedback. So
Damn you, Alex.
I'm worried that we're gonna open up
I
and it's
already
gonna be
don't
these
like
fucking
these
idiots the
people.
whole time.
Yeah.
I don't like them, but I'm fascinated by him, and I want to know
It's
what
not
happens.
going to be serious. I can't take them seriously.
I know. Anyways, we skipped over Eric, who was a soldier. At some
was
point, you see
brief.
him in the trailer. The soldiers are attacked by zombies. You're like, why are they there? I thought it was cool. I thought it was going to be something way cooler. I thought
too.
that from time to time, the countries that are blockading the thing send in Marines to various
Thin 'em out or
research
something.
institutes to see if they could look for a cure
That
or a
would've been
source
cooler.
or patient zero. No, it turns out the Swedish have no idea how to fucking sail ships.
Vikings
and they
are notoriously
fucking,
bad sailors.
And they fucking
Notoriously.
ran aground, and their ship went down, and they found a raft, and only 8 of them made it onto the island. But once you step foot on this island, you're never getting off. And so I guess they were just panicking and going into a random area, and the Alpha shows up and kills them all. And it's a cool scene. And then they got the head flashlights, which I thought they brought for a specific purpose because they were training to go into the center, but this underground center and find something cool. But no, it's just some random.
in and
It was a
Headlights.
really cool thing that were wearing all of their gear when their boat sank too.
Yeah, and why would the fucking Swedish military have 2 huge fucking headlights
You're not
on
supposed
their
to think about
on their
that.
on
boat?
their helmets by default?
You're
That's
not
standard
supposed to-
issue.
Yeah, they're
Apparently
quarantine
it's
boat.
really dark in Sweden or
Don't think
something.
about it.
Yeah, and then you're not supposed to think about how the entire world is fine. They put up a line very quickly that there is no infection in continental Europe. They pushed it back.
They pushed it. There was one line that could try to retcon the fact that at the end of 28 weeks later they showed that Paris was
yeah.
zombies are running around. They said no, they quickly pushed them out of there. The entire world is fine. We've just isolated Britain.
And we're not giving them any aid. We're not giving them
Right.
food. We're not helping
That's
them.
fucked up.
And it's like we know where they are
Super
because we
fucked
can
up.
see them, and they live in these towns. And they
Honestly, if you're just going to do that, then just drop a bunch of fucking nukes. Well, you can't do that. That'll ruin the environment. Just drop a bunch of fucking daisy cutters and bunker busters and
canned
just
food.
level the entire fucking island in order to get... But obviously evacuate people who are not infected and then level it so that you're done with the virus. But I guess they can't do that.
You take
The
those people
logistics
out.
for that would be insane, and then you would run the risk of spreading the virus if somebody was carrying it, so they're not going to do that.
just drop them food.
Instead, they are just patrolling this for all of time. Anyways, these soldiers go and they're reckless and they just go wherever, and all of them die except for one who runs and lets his friends die. But and it's a just so happens to save them at the last moment when his and his mother are running from some fast zombies. They go into a gas station which had a leak,
Is that
and there's
how
a
explosions
gas.
work?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
no,
yes.
because here's another thing that's dumb. Because as soon as they're about to die, the roof opens and it's the soldier, and he fires a few times in order to help them because the zombies were right there while the sun was killing a few, but there's too many. He fires. It ignites the whole fucking building.
Explosions only go up.
And it does show the building explode from the sides, but apparently the mother and son had.
They were laying down because the gas was just like.
They had,
The gas
they
was
had just.
the gas was just here.
Okay, so it's
They were
just,
down here
it's
on
a,
the floor.
It's a flash, and maybe it doesn't work like that. It just flash, and instant gone. It just burns up all the remaining butane or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, I've been standing in front of grills, and you're not even that close, and you're just like, oh, that's fucking hot. And when you're talking about an entire building explode like right above you, like you.
Yeah, the explosion would sear your skin.
No more hair at the very least, but probably kill them for sure.
Right. It doesn't kill you instantly. What would, if we're talking realism, what would happen is the concussion of the blast would probably shatter your lungs and suck all the air out of your things, and that's how you die. It wouldn't be because flames touched you from the explosion. I don't know. It makes no sense. So they survive, and then the soldier comes around and is like, "What do we do now?" And he's like, "How the fuck do I know? What do you mean you asked him?" He's like, "You live here. What do I do now?" And I like this character. It was funny. It led to some comedic moments.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, "Look at my girl. I got 1%. I'm fucked. I can't leave this island now. Just tell me, what do I do?" He's like, "You can come live with us." And he's like, "Hey, look, here's my girlfriend. It's 1%. It's a little duck face, like plastic surgery, Instagram model." And the kid's like, "What happened to her face?
Yeah, what's wrong with her face?
What's wrong with her face?" And that's what happens when you eat shellfish if you're allergic. And he's like, "Shut up." And he's a dick, but I was like, "Oh, cool. I like this, this dynamic." And then walk around, and it's gonna be the dick and the good guy, but he dies.
Yeah. Well, the guy with the dick rips his head off.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And his mom's even told him, "Stop being a dick." And then he got his head ripped off.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Now
we
what I
went all
expected.
different ways. Okay, guys. Upon
Hey,
upon
man, you
talking
do you.
about it.
You do you.
I know. I still like it.
That's fine.
I'm just saying.
I like
I would
stuff
like
out that
to
people
say
like, yeah.
how over the top and ridiculous this all sounds when we're recounting it. But for some reason, I mean, even though it's over the top, even though it's crazy, even though there's several plot holes and some leaps in logic, I think it's executed at a high level to where I was still in it. At some point, y'all got punched out. I did get punched out, but I pushed myself back in, and I was able to live there. And I do want to see some more.
That's
So
my
we'll
home
see.
now. I live here.
I live here.
All right, guys. Well, tell us what you
Crazy
think.
town.
Have you seen 28 Years Later? I make the recommendation. The boys that think you can wait till later and see it on a VOD. But that's up for you to decide. There's the only other movie is Elio,
Emilio.
something like that, and Pixar film.
Doesn't look good. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Y'all tell us about that one in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.